Hey guys, it's Drew. Thank you for checking out the Sober Fix podcast, where we talk about addiction and living life sober, one day at a time. If you like what you hear, go ahead and follow us. And if you get some time, check out our Instagram page at the Sober Fix podcast, and also our YouTube and TikTok at the Sober Fix. Hope you enjoy the episode. Hey guys, it's another episode. This is Drew with the Sober Fix. I am excited today. We've got a friend on today, Santy Mathews, and he is all the way from India. How you doing, Santy?
Hello and namaste from India, Pune, India to be precise.
Yes, that is awesome. And I met you through a friend of mine who I just had on the episode, and he said, I've got to bring this on. He's from India. He's an awesome guy. So I'm really happy we were able to make this work. Can you give me just a little bit of background
Thank.
about yourself, Santy?
I'm 55 years old. My passion is basically de-addiction and helping people struggling with mental health, relationships, addiction, different kinds of addiction. But I am basically into homestays and Airbnbs. I run homestays and Airbnbs in Pune, India. I used to be, shall I tell you a little about how I got addicted and my
Absolutely.
substance? Or
Absolutely.
so my substance of abuse was nicotine, cigarettes, and alcohol, and to a certain extent, weed. Okay, and basically this started off when I started. I'm an MBA. It started off with my corporate career. I was in the corporate world till about 2018, from 1992 to 2018. And in the corporate world, you have to entertain people a lot. So it started with that. It started with taking clients out for drinks. And then over a period of time and over a few years, the drink took hold of me. The drink was taking me out. So everything started getting centered around the drink. You'd plan your whole day around the drink in the evening. And then I realized, then this just kept affecting. I mean, I had the best of jobs, but it kept affecting my work, obviously. And 2018, I realized I had a flash of realization that I have two teenage boys, and children emulate what their parents do. And every night I used to be out at the pub, and used to be a couple of pubs every night. So it was all very nice. It's all nice to go out drinking with guys, with your friends, etc., etc. But then your kids are watching you, and then I realized if I want them to be on the right path, I'll have to lead by example. So I had this realization, and with the support of my late father, my mother, and my sister, I checked into a rehab. I was a patient in that rehab for about 6 months, and then I was running that rehab for a year. And that's when I realized that people would come to me for advice on addiction. They would not go to the psychologists over there. Okay, because I used to understand what pain they're going through. Addiction is something which is suppressed inside you, and it's a form of escape. So I would understand what they were going through, and I would be able to help them out, whether they were onto weed, whether they were onto smack, they were onto coke, they were onto alcohol, they were onto sniffing glue, they were whatever they were addicted to. I was able to relate to them. Then I realized I had a flair for doing this, so I certified myself in mental health, and I also did a life coaching thing. So now I run something which is pretty hybrid. I run a hybrid program which is a mixture of life coaching and de-addiction. Because end of the day, uh, if you're into addiction, you need to get out of that and get back into the reality of life, which is earning money, putting bread and butter on the table, supporting your family, being part of the family, being part of society, and contributing to society and to your family. You cannot live in a bubble, which is what all addicts do. They live in bubbles. They cut themselves off from the world. So that's what I do.
Awesome, man. And what was that rehab experience like for you? What is rehab like over there in India?
Rehab's a little tough over here. They bash people up. It's like a jail.
Oh, is it really?
It's literally it's literally like a jail. Not all of them, but most of them are. And I that's when I realized that there is that's how this program which I've developed, it's all tailor-made, is a mixture between life coaching and de-addiction. Like I don't believe in medicating people. The moment someone is admitted into a rehab, they're put on medication. From one substance, you're put onto another substance. That's basically the bottom line. So I don't believe in medication. I believe in making the mind free and chemical free, and you use your own mind to think for yourself. So all
Yeah, and
rehabs use a lot of medication. Yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
yeah, I was just gonna ask you. So you were in the rehab for 6 months, and then you started to
Right.
lead it after that for a year.
Yeah, I was actually running it for a year, and I was going to start a very premium rehab. This was a premium rehab in Pune, India. And I was going to start a very super premium rehab along with the owner of that rehab as a partner. But unfortunately, he relapsed and he committed suicide. So that's when that plan fell apart. And then I realized that I might as well do it on my own. So I do very selective things in this. Most of it I do it is free. But if I take on someone on something, it's a little expensive.
Yeah, and what kind of stuff do you kind of help them with?
Oh yeah, it's one on one. There's not more than two people at a time. So you have to spend time with them. You have to spend about 6 months with them. People think rehab is like an operation. They'll admit the family member, the family will admit the addict into a rehab and expect instant results. It's a mental health issue. It takes time. The results don't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time and patience and money you have to spend. You have to be patient with your whoever the ward is, who you're putting into the rehab.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you talk about like, because for me, I used to go to a treatment center, and I would think that I was good after that. Like I am good to go now. I completed treatment, and as time went on, I
See,
kind of figured out that like I needed to do more than that.
yeah. So the trick is if you understand the business of rehabs, rehabs are a business. Okay, if you understand the business of rehabs, hotels, restaurants, they all work on the same policy. The bed should never be empty. So rehabs know that this patient will go out, he will relapse in a month, 2 months, he'll be back. And they know that cycle will be for 3 times or 4 times max. After that, the family will just stop paying. So there is a product life cycle of that addict for the rehab. It's a very, very clear business model. And rehabs, the pharma industry, the doctors, they all work in collision with each other because the moment someone is admitted into a rehab, they're put on a high dosage of drugs, medication.
And when you were in rehab over there, what is like, are most people in India that were in your rehab, was it because of alcohol, or I know you mentioned there was other drugs as well. What's the main
Mostly,
one?
mostly alcohol, followed by weed.
Alcohol and weed.
Yes. There are very few for coke, but it's mainly alcohol. Mainly alcohol.
So when you went to rehab, how did you get to rehab? Did you decide on your own that you needed help,
Yeah,
or
yeah, I decided on my own with the help of with a little coaxing from my late father and my sister and mom. And I went there myself.
yeah, and I saw on your
See,
page. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
it's on my, no, no. The thing is, if you go to rehab, you have to want to get yourself uh, cured. You shouldn't do it for your wife or for your girlfriend or for your son or for your father or for your mother. You have to want to get yourself cured 100%. If people think they're doing a favor to the family, okay, I'll go because my family is saying so, I'm going to the rehab. because my wife is saying so, I'm going to the rehab. Because my husband is saying so, I'm going to the rehab. That never works out. Those are 100% relapse cases. But if you go with the
Yeah.
conviction ki I have to cure myself, I have to do this, and I have to invest my own time in it. In rehabs, forget no mobile phones, no internet, no TV, no nothing. It's just you and yourself and everyone else around you. But there's no point interacting with them because you're all in the same boat. Yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I saw that it looks like on your page like you do a lot of running. Does that help
Yes,
you with, staying sober?
oh yes, when the first lockdown happened, that was 27th March 2000, I think 20, right? That was the first
Yeah.
lockdown. It was announced worldwide. That's my first run. That was about just under a kilometer, 400, 300 or 400 meters. And I realized I was smoking about a pack of cigarettes a day. I realized I couldn't run, and I was 78 kgs. So during the lockdown, I started running, and gradually over time, I started doing 10K every night. And then I realized, what's the point of running when there's traffic on the road? You're breathing all those uh, uh, vehicular fumes in. Okay, you don't get a clear road to run on. I do road running. I don't do trail running. So I started running at 3 o'clock in the morning when everyone's asleep. All the drunks are also in bed. No drunk drivers on the road. Roads are very clear. All the street dogs are my friends. I get a clear road, clean air, and I can really think. I can run in the middle of the road. I can think. I can plan my day. So I run 10K every morning at roughly around 3 plus minus few minutes here and there.
Wow. And what was quitting cigarettes like? How did you do it? What was the
Overnight, like I quit alcohol, I quit cigarettes overnight. It made a huge difference to my running. Huge difference. Huge difference.
so y- so you started running, you got into running and then you realized like, oh no, I'm like out of breath and stuff and you
Yes,
realized, yeah.
absolutely. There's no point sucking on a cigarette when you're trying to improve your lungs.
What about do they have like support group meetings in India? Do they have AA and NA and stuff like that in
There is
India?
AA and NA is here, very much over here. But unfortunately, I have, while I was in the rehab, and while I was running the rehab, there used to be every week, there used to be daily AA meetings. Okay, and there used to be weekly AA and NA meetings. And I realized that was not my cup of tea. I can't sit in a group and people talk and say, "Oh, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like that," and I couldn't buy into that. I'm sorry, that bullshit. What I realized was very, very clear. If you want to quit, you quit. No point sitting in front of someone else and whining about it. That's what I felt. What was happening. Okay, you go to sit in a circle and you say, "Hey, I'm so and so," and everyone will say, "Hey, so and so." "Oh, I'm so and so," and this and that. If you want to quit, you just quit. Don't make excuses. Don't talk to other people about it. Just do it. It's a question of willpower. It's a mental health thing. Make up your mind and do it. I couldn't run for half a kilometer when I started off. Within a couple of months, I was running 10 kilometers every night. So once you set your mind to something, things can work out. The problem is people around you. When you start believing in what the other person says, okay, for example, you're sitting in an AA meeting and the other fellow is saying, "Oh, I felt like this when my someone told me that's why I started drinking and this led to this," and then someone else says something and someone else something. That's nothing to do with you. Every case is individual. You have to fight your own battles. Life is a battle. Get up every morning, face life, get on with it. Be a man. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I
I'm,
like
I'm,
to it's cool to hear like different opinions on it because you're right. Everyone has their own battles to fight. You know.
Yeah. So there is AA and NA is very prevalent over here. A lot of people go to it. It works for them. Great. It didn't work for me. I couldn't buy into that process of sharing with people. I make up my mind. I want to do something. I do it. And I realize it's just a question of willpower.
Yeah, and that's cool. And I like how it's like there's different ways for people to get sober. And that's cool
True.
that you were able to find what works for you.
True. And see, if you realize something, why do people relapse or why do people stick to addiction? Because they create a lot of time for that addiction, right? Hello? You don't have time for addiction. So I have made my lifestyle so regimented and so disciplined. I wake up at 2:30. I go for my 10K run at 3 o'clock. I'm back by about 4:15. I put in about 45 minutes to an hour of sleep. Then 5 o'clock, I go for my I do about 10,000 steps minimum in the morning. I come back, have coffee with my mom. Uh, she lives in another house. Come back, I do about 20-25 minutes of weights. I don't believe in going to the gym. I haven't been to the gym since 2002. I do about 20-25 minutes of weights at home and I'm done. I'm set for the day.
Yeah,
And
and
I do my,
can
sure,
you
can
talk
you
about how
explain?
the exercise kind of helps your mental health?
Oh, I'm focusing on my body. When I look in the mirror, I like what I look at. I mean, I'm 55. People, when they look at me, people walk up to me on the road and tell me, hey, you got a very good physique. And it feels good. And then I realized, okay, what the hell was I doing wasting my time in bars? Doing what? Wasting time, effort, and money. And that, I mean, it's very good. And one of the major reasons for me quitting addiction was my eldest son. He got into bodybuilding at that time, and he was so disciplined. Hail, rain, storm, snow, he'd hit the gym. Today he's pretty big in the bodybuilding world. He's got his own YouTube channel which is monetized. His name is Santy Mathews. So he was one of my what do you call it? I would look up to that. See, if my son can do it, why can't I? And that also worked for my younger son. He got into mixed martial arts.
Yeah, it's really important, it seems, for everyone to find like their passion, something they're passionate about, you know.
True, true.
And I love that you talk about the amount of time spent at a bar drinking, because I look back and it just amazes me how much time I really spent actually just drinking, not doing anything but
Yeah,
drinking.
yeah. And you realize it's not constructive at all. The first thing I did after coming out of the rehab, and after that, I finished running that rehab. I cut off all contact with all my so-called drinking friends, because they never added any value to me. Even today, when they meet me on the road or they see me somewhere, they know I've quit. I mean, on 7th of August, it'll be 6 years I'll be clean and sober. Uh, some of them sarcastically tell me, "Oh, you've become so rude, you unstuck up, you don't have time for us." I turn around and tell them, "Yes, I don't have time to waste sitting around with you over a drink, and there's no value add, and you just have bloated egos once alcohol goes inside you, and you talk all nonsense. It's nothing about how you can build yourself, how you can make more money, how you can improve your business, how you can add value to someone else. They're all talking about some other idiot. They'll talk of a football game. Now that the fellow who's playing football is earning the money. He doesn't even know you exist. And you, like a fool, are sitting and wasting time in front of a TV and spending money on tickets and buying beer and celebrating his win. He doesn't even know you're alive. You don't matter. This is a big marketing gimmick. This is what the Romans used to do. When they wanted to divert attention in the ancient times, they'd organize games. And that evolved into Olympics, if you remember. So
That's
all our
that's funny.
sports, all our sports are entire diversionary tactics, if you look at it. What do you get out of watching a game? Except a kick. It's like having a beer. What if you're watching a baseball game or a basketball game or a football game, whatever? How do you benefit from that? You don't. Has a fan ever actually sat down and analyzed how much of money they blow up? That money if they invest in their children or their wives or themselves? Okay, watch, but don't be fanatical about it. I'm sorry, my views are very, very different.
Oh no, it's cool. I enjoy hearing them, and it's cool. It's to have your own views and to be able to talk about them is a cool thing. And I was going to ask you too. So you said you have 6 years sober. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 7th of August it will be 6 years. Another 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah, and so do you still have people that reach out to you? And because you mentioned how you were helping a lot of people in the rehab, I'm sure you probably still have a lot of people that reach out to you now for help about addiction.
Yeah, I on my Instagram every month there's a story which goes up which says ki, this is my number. I'm available 24 by 7, whether you're depressed, whether you're in addiction. If you just want to lean on, talk to me. I'm available. Talk to me. A lot of people call me. A lot of people are in touch with me. They need to speak to someone who understands what they're going through. They don't want a psychologist to sit and analyze them. They don't want a doctor to sit and analyze them. They just need someone to talk to unload their feelings without being judged. The problem is the person sitting on the other side of the telephone or the table ends up judging people, judging the addicts. So
Yeah,
yeah, sure. What were you saying? Yeah.
I totally agree. And I was gonna ask you too, like what typically happens to those in India that are addicted to substances? Do they go straight to jail? How does that normally work over there?
Yeah, it depends. If most of the time the families bail them out if they get caught by the cops. Yeah, they do. They go to jail, but most of the time uh, they are let off and they relapse.
Yeah, did you have any relapse in your story?
No, not at all. None whatsoever. Very, very. I am very focused. I know what I want in life. I know what's the point of relapsing. It's not going to help me.
Yeah, that's what I realized like after a while is like when I'd be having a hard time and I'd be thinking about like picking up that drink or whatever, and I just remember thinking like there's just nothing that drinking is going to help right now. It's like I used to think that it would help me deal with issues or problems, but the thing was when I woke up the next day, it's like I had just made everything worse.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another thing, what I've done is I've gone 2 steps ahead. I've gone on a total uh, carnivore diet. I eat once a day. I eat only meat. I do the 90-10 funda. 90% of the time I'm very disciplined in my diet. 10% of the time I will have my biryanis, I will have my seekh kebabs, I will have this and that. But no processed food at all. No cereals, no pizzas. I mean, very rarely I'll have pizza. No, no processed food except. If mine is pure and pure carnivore diet,
And have you
and it
noticed
has
that you
made a
feel
huge.
better?
Much better. My mental clarity is much, much better. I do water fast. I started off in December with a 48-hour water fast. Then the next one was 80 hours, then 85 hours, then 90 hours, then 92 hours, then 100 hours, then 108 hours. And the last one I did was 136 hours, which is about 6 days. And I realized when I'm doing the water fast that I'm just having water and I'm having about morning and evening electrolytes and 2-3 cups of black coffee. I could do everything much better. I would do my normal schedule, my 10K run. I'd be much more faster, agile. My reaction time would be much better. So I realized one thing: these food companies have put us in a trap. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. No, I mean if you go back 100, 200 years, there was that concept of breakfast, lunch, dinner did not exist. People used to go out, hunt, come, cook, and eat once a day. They couldn't store stuff in fridges. There were no fridges. They were very lean. There was no obese people. So a lot of what our
Yeah.
ancestors did makes sense today.
So you notice a difference when you're doing the water fast.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And especially it makes a lot of difference when you want to lose weight around your stomach. It makes a huge difference. Huge. So I end up doing a water fast once a month now. It's part of my routine. But and
Once a
minimum is
month.
72 hours. Yeah, once a minimum is 72 hours. I can stretch it to. Last I did it was for 6 days. I'm planning to do about every time I plan to increase a little. So this time it might be 7 days, then 8 days. It depends on what my objective is. But water fast is there for me to stay because that cleans out your body. All the dead toxins and all the dirty stuff gets flushed out. You will actually feel good and new.
Yeah, and so you do you do a lot of stuff. It sounds like to really make sure that your mental health is good, to make sure you feel clear-headed, to make sure you feel strong. Is there
Oh,
anything else that we
absolutely.
haven't? Do you read as well, or do you go to any type of church? Do you do either of those?
No, nothing. Yes, I binge on Netflix and Amazon Prime. That's it. That's my current addiction. While
Yes.
I'm eating,
So
I need to be watching Netflix or Amazon, something or the other, and just before I sleep. That's it. I have no vices at all.
just Amazon and
Yeah,
Netflix.
Netflix. You need
Cool,
to divert
man.
your mind a little with made up stuff, which is where Netflix and Amazon comes in perfectly.
Oh, I totally agree. I think it's like I enjoy it because, and like we work so hard on staying sober and kind of all this mental strength and bettering our lives. And sometimes it's nice to just have that thing to where you're just relaxing, and watching some
True,
show or whatever.
correct.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you too, do you have like what kind of support group do you have over there now? And I don't mean like it doesn't have to be like meetings and stuff. I just mean like family, friends. You have other people that are also not drinking that are part of your kind of
No,
like network.
I don't believe in support groups at all. I am very, very clear. If you want to stay clean, you do it yourself. No need to go crying to someone else or being a crybaby. I am a little different in my thinking. I don't want to be a crybaby. You want to stay clean and sober? Just do it. Do what it takes to get it done. And that's it. I'm widowed. My wife expired just after the second COVID wave. So it's just me and my two sons. Thankfully, they are on their feet now or getting on their feet now. So basically, it's just me and my dog. My mom is down the road. My sister and brother-in-law are close by. They are my what you can call support group, but I don't need to talk to them about anything about addiction because they know I'm able to handle it. Which is where my running, my weights, my dog comes in. My support group, if you look at it, is my dog. His name is Rex. He's my therapist.
Yeah, that's great. And I think a lot of people could like agree with that, having like that pet or, anything that's gonna just
Yeah.
help and make you feel less lonely.
So
Yeah, I didn't. I'm sorry to hear about your wife, man. That you just talked about right now. I'm sure
hmm
that has been hard, kind of coping with all that.
no, actually, it's not hard. I mean, the one more. See, I lost my wife, and within 6 months, I lost my father. Okay, so I realized one big realization which hit me was me and my kids, for example, we didn't have enough pictures with her. The kids realize it now because they don't have enough pictures with their mom. Because when they were kids, when they were growing up, whenever she or me wanted to take pics with them, they'd have this typical teenage tendency. No, we don't want to be in pics. They'd cover their faces and all that nonsense. Now they regret it. So I make it a point to, I click a lot of pics of myself because maybe 50 years down the line or 20 years down the line when my boys and my nephews have their own children, they'll be able to show, okay, this is what your grandfather was like. He used to run every day I put up a running reel. So there is some kind of record of that I existed
Yeah, that's cool, man. And you run every day, huh?
every day. Yeah, whether it rains, whether it's winter, whether it's summer. Reels I'll put up if I feel like, but normally now I'm almost doing running reel almost every day. But run I will, come what may. That's my safety net.
And I like that you talked about how you run at like 3 in the morning. There's the air is cleaner. There's not cars all over the place. There isn't drunk people driving. And you said it's kind of like a time for you to kind of be with yourself. Is that how you put it?
Yes, to be with yourself and spend time with the street dogs. I there are packs of street dogs on all the running routes I run on, and they all know me. They all look forward for me coming. They'll come they'll come running towards me when they see me.
Also, they're just all over the place, huh?
Yeah, India has a huge population of street dogs.
And have you always lived in India?
Yes.
Cool, man. And I just want to ask you too, like, because you are a parent as well. You said you had two sons. Do you have
Right.
any advice for any people that are sober and have a couple kids or a kid? Do you have any advice for the parents that are sober?
Be fit. Kids will emulate what you do. If you are a fit parent, your kids will turn out to be fit also. And that's what they will pass on to the next generation. We are turning out to be a world full of obese people. If we want to beat that, we all need to be fit, which also means we need to look at what we are putting into our mouths in terms of eating. 80% of fitness is diet. Only 20% is the physical exercise.
Yeah, I
So
love
that's
that.
the.
I was gonna ask you too. Are you still going to school now, or are you done with that?
I'm doing my PhD in management currently. I'm the only person in my family who's not a PhD, so I decided to complete that loop.
Oh, they all had already done that.
Yeah, my entire come from a family of PhDs. So I'm currently doing mine in management.
And did your family, when you were working at the job and and you started to drink more, like entertaining on the job and stuff. Did your family notice it? Did they start to see when you were drinking a little too much?
Yeah, but it was part of the job, so there's nothing much which could be done about it.
Yeah, and that's what can be hard sometimes too, is like when you have a job where it's like you can get away
Yeah,
with
and see,
drinking, you know,
most people will use it like as a shield. Oh, it's part of my job, so I need to drink with my client. I can't escape it. So you have a ready-made excuse.
yeah, an excuse to just to make it okay and just continue to drink, huh?
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. What are your I'm almost done here. I've kept you for a good amount of time, but I was going to ask you, like, what's next for you? What are your next goals with,
So
staying sober or maybe your business?
staying sober is for life, that's for sure. Running every day is for life, that's for sure. The 15, 20, 25 minutes of workout every day, that's for sure. Water fast is there once a month, that's for sure, for life. And I'm growing my homestay business. I plan to do a lot of sober meetups in Pune in India, where I can host people from across the globe who'll just come and meet each other. Because that's something which we recovering alcoholics and addicts don't have. You just go for an AA meeting and hello, I'm so and so and bye bye. But you don't actually spend time, go on a holiday, meet people from different parts of the globe. Okay. Build that network of friends, because that I think will be a more value add than people who used to drink with.
Wow, how did you come
So
up with
that's
that
what I'm
idea?
working
That's
on it.
pretty cool.
Since I was at the homestay business, I've bounced it off a couple of friends of mine already. There's a guy in UK called Nads. Okay, so he's pretty keen on it. Uh, then there's a gentleman who's running a site called Sober Press in the US. He's also pretty keen on it. Then there's Sober is the New Cool. She she is also might be part of it. So I'm involving people from different parts of the world, and let's see, want to make it maybe a biannual or an annual event in India, which is a low cost destination.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the thing I've noticed too is it's so easy now to connect to other people that are sober all
Absolutely
over the world.
true,
Do you find that to be true?
very true. I mean the weekly stories I put up on for people to reach out to me. I mean, I people ping me on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on they call me from across the globe, and it's all free. They don't have to spend money. They don't have to. They're not paying $100 an hour speaking to a therapist in the US. They are just speaking to someone who understands them from across the globe, who's been through the same grind as them.
All right, you made it through another episode. Thanks again, and if you'd like to collaborate or come on the show, please email me at thesoberfixpodcast@gmail.com. Have a great day.